welcome to my second cooking video, and this time it is yours truly doing the cooking, your girl LWL. So today I want to show you how to make my sweet and tangy meatloaf. So we are going to start with the basics. It's very simple. I'm going to start with my sauce. So I'm just using a measuring cup. It holds 2 cups, and I'm going to show you how I make my actual sauce. So I use Domino light brown sugar. It's one of the ingredients. I also use real lemon. It's like a little tangy, kind of like the taste of real lemons, and ketchup. So I know a lot of times people use meatloaf or make meatloaf, they use ketchup. This is just going to be a little bit more tangy with a little punch. So I'm just going to fill my measuring cup about halfway with the ketchup. I really don't have any type of real measurements. It's all going to be by taste. So whatever suits you, it's how you're going to make it. If you like a lot of tang, use more lemon. If you like a little bit more sweet, use the brown sugar or just use ketchup. Totally up to you. So at this point, I'm going to start with my second ingredient, which is going to be the real lemon. Just want you to see exactly how much ketchup I put in there, and on to the next. With the real lemon, I pretty much just kind of squeezed about 20 little squeezes in there and got to that amount. And then I add the brown sugar. Again, there is really no measurement, guys. It's just to taste. So with each step and each amount that you put in, you want to mix it. You want to taste it. If it's to your liking, you can stop right there. But I'm going to continue because I've done this before. And I'm going to mix the ingredients. And what you're looking for is for it to turn into like a glaze. So you're going to continue to stir until you get that consistency. And I'm going to taste it. And again, guys, if you want it to be a little bit more tangy, or if it's too much of whatever, you just add more ingredients. If you feel like maybe it should have a little bit more ketchup, you can do that. So I ended up adding each ingredient again. About the same amount because I wanted to double my portion. So once that's done, put it to the side. I'm going to start with my meat. So I'm using a pound of ground turkey. I'm going to add that to my mixing bowl. And my other meat of choice is just going to be ground beef, and that's also a pound. Okay, so for the seasonings, I am going to be using quite a bit. I'm going to start with black pepper, and I'm just going to generously spread that around. Next ingredient is garlic powder. And again, it may look like I'm putting a lot on there, but remember it's 2 pounds of meat, and I am going to mix it. Again, no measurement. The next ingredient is seasoned salt. I am going to be very light-handed on this one, though. And what I have to use is Hamburger Seasoning from McCormick Grill Mates. This is like hands down the best seasoning I've ever had for beef. Okay, and I'm going to finish that off with some parsley. Next, we do want to add an egg. I'm just using 1 egg, and that's going to help mold the meatloaf or help it to stick together. So you definitely want to have an egg. And then lastly, I'm using Italian-style breadcrumbs. And I'm going to put a generous amount in there. And again, I am measuring as I go. So I don't want it to be too many big breadcrumbs and then it's too dry. I want it to have like a nice moist consistency. So next, I put in 1/3 of the mixture of the sauce. That's going to go inside that meatloaf. And then I'm going to mix it. I was going to use a spoon, but it's too difficult, so I'm using my hands. This is for me and my family. This is how I cook, okay? So I'm mixing it up, and as you can see, it looks a little bit, the consistency is not what I want it to be, so I definitely need to add a little bit more breadcrumbs because it's very wet. So that's what I'm doing. Just want to make sure that you're going to be able to shape and mold it into a loaf, which is why we call it a meatloaf. This is such a simple and easy dinner to make, or main dish in your dinner to make, and it's very quick. So I add a little bit more breadcrumbs because it wasn't where I wanted it to be, but now it appears as though I'm going to be able to make my loaf with it. So at this point, I just use baking dish. I'm going to place my meatloaf or the meat in the dish and create a loaf. Just going to go ahead and just shape it until I get the shape that I want. It's looking good, y'all. And lastly, I'm going to just top it with some of the parsley, a little bit more of the parsley. And my oven is already preheated to 325, and excuse me, is already preheated to 375. So halfway through, which is going to be in about 20 minutes, I'm going to add the rest of the mixture to the meatloaf. Okay, guys, and voila, this is what it looks like when it comes out. I cooked it for 40 minutes. Halfway through, I put the mixture on. Don't have to use that much sauce. It's totally up to you. And this is my corny cornbread. That recipe is coming up next, the tutorial. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that. And this is the meatloaf cut and ready to go in my tummy. Thank you guys for watching. Please thumbs up and subscribe. Smooches. Mwah.